Okay. I'm going to try that again with a bit more enthusiasm. Kia ora! Ah, that's better. Now I'm awake and I hope my ancestors are too. So I've just did a karakia on my way out or a prayer just to wish you guys safe travels whilst in the park. Now my name is Shane Nātana and I will have the privilege today of introducing our Lady Knox. But before I do begin, there is just a couple of health and safety issues to cover. So for those of you who are going into the main park today after the eruption, please be aware that you are in an active volcano. And so for your health and safety, it is important that you stay on the formed tracks and follow the signage. So we have fences and barriers to protect you from getting hurt. So these fences are made to protect you, not to play on. Okay, so also whilst in the park, there is strictly no smoking, as we do have flammable gases inside some of our craters. Now, before I begin, I'm just going to try something different today. With my culture or my ancestors, they sailed the 7 seas. And upon sailing these 7 seas, we learnt a lot of different languages. So today, I'm going to go around and introduce some of my fellow friends they would have met along the way. So if you can reply back to me in your language, that'll be great. So I'll start off with the easy one. Ni hao. Ni hao. Let's try that again. Ni hao. Ni hao. Ah, that's better. Guten Tag.
Guten Tag.
Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Yeah, there's a lot of French in the party today. Okay, now let's go to hola.
Hola.
Where else did my ancestors go to? They also went to Iraq. Salam.
Salam.
Yeah, there's a couple of them. I met them outside. Dzień dobry.
Dzień dobry.
Ah, guten Morgen.
Guten Morgen.
Yes, and also for my Aussie mates. G'day, mates.
G'day, mate.
Oh, yes, for you guys. And for my fellow Americans, what's up, dog?
What's up, dog?
Just kidding. Okay, so yes, we'll just start the show now, I think. Okay, so... Oh, did I miss someone? Oh, no. What did you say? Exactly what they said. And if we got any Irish, kana satatu. Yeah, there's one. Okay. So again, let's start the show. My name is Shane Nātana. Please feel free to put me on TripAdvisor if you think I'm any good today. Okay, so the story behind Our Lady Knox geyser, well, she began just over 100 years ago. And at that time, all that was here was nothing more than barren wilderness. So if you look around here, this was actually an old geyser field. And at that time, there would have been around 130 active geysers just in this region. Now by 1970, this number has reduced to round about 15. The story behind Lady Knox, well, that begins just over 100 years ago. Now at that time, all that was here, as I said, was nothing more than this light scrub and bush that you can see around you. And where you folks actually parked your cars this morning, there was a prison camp. And in fact, it was the first open prison here in New Zealand. The prisoners at that time were required to clear this land of the light scrub and bush to prepare it for the planting of pine trees. Now it was a group of these prisoners who come across this clearing. And again, what they saw then is not what we are seeing now. Back then, all that was here was a beautiful clear hot water spring with a ledge about so high around it. Now, to give you an idea of what it looked like, but on a smaller scale, if you look behind me, you will see a scrubby looking plant literally growing out of that rock. Now that is Manuka, or New Zealand's tea tree. And below its base is a ledge which marks the edge of what was then a beautiful, clear, hot water spring. Now, over 100 years ago, prison life in New Zealand was pretty primitive. Those prisoners were about half a day's ride from Rotorua by horse. And so they did not have access to the luxuries of life. They certainly did not have access to constant hot water. So a group of them thought it would be a clever idea to use this hot water spring to wash their dirty clothes in. So that would save them the bother of having to gather firewood to heat hot water. Now, one morning these prisoners come down here with their washing powder to wash their clothes in. So they've dipped their clothes into this hot water spring, pulled them out, and then soaked them up, and then put them back in to rinse them off. Now what happened next? Well, they got one heck of a fright. The hot spring erupted, causing them to make a run for it into the bushes, but naked. Not a very good look for me, but my friend over here might have enjoyed it. Now, due to these prisoners putting that soap into the hot water spring, we now know that the soap took the tension off the chambers below my feet to allow the hot spring to erupt, or what we now know to be as a geyser eruption. And so that is how we are going to start things today. But instead of using soap, we now use a product called surfactant, which has been chemically engineered to do the same thing but leave nothing bad behind in the environment. So this is what we are going to do now. Now is normally a good time to take photos as the sun is behind me, and this is the good side of me, and I'm ready to pose.
Wow. 我以为大麻。
要等它滚一下的。
There you go. So within a few minutes, we will start to see some bubbles forming around the vent. And as the hot water forces its way through the cooler levels, we will start to see the water surge as it builds up to its eruption. Now you're probably looking at me and going, hey, this isn't a real geyser. Well, in fact it is. And just by me putting the surfactant into there is allowing you guys to watch it at this time. If we did not put the surfactant in it, she would still naturally erupt, but you would probably be sitting here for 72 hours just to wait for it to erupt. We do not want to take that much money off you, so we've cut it short, and now you get to watch it at 10:30. Okay, so to give you an idea, below my feet is 2 chambers. Now these 2 chambers hold approximately 30,000 litres of water.
Wow.
And what's stopping these 2 chambers from touching each other is tension in between. And so this soap has broken down that tension to allow these 2 extreme waters to come into contact, causing a hydrothermal flash, or also known as an eruption. Okay? So dependent on how much water is in the chamber today, we'll estimate how long she plays for and how high she goes. So she can reach heights of 10 to 20 meters and play for anywhere up to 2 to 3 hours. But there is no guarantee that she will play any longer after she erupts. So on her first eruption, I do ask that you take as many photos just in case she stops. Okay, now also when the water does spray into the crowd today, please do not be alarmed, as it is warm to the touch and soapy to the feel. So for those backpackers who have not had a shower this morning, please feel free to come to the front row. Now you're probably looking at this geyser thinking it's a funny shape. Well, why it's shaped like this is what happens each time she erupts. The water that is left in this area leaves behind the mineral silica, which is responsible for her shape and colour. Now, why it sort of looks like this as well is because the prisoners used to have competitions at who could get their clothes the highest. And so they created a chimney, which meant it would create a narrower opening, causing their clothes to go even higher. So hopefully by the time they hit the ground on a sunny day, they should have been dry. Now, you can actually find geysers in 3 main parts of the world, the largest being in Yellowstone National Park. Also, we have another cluster in Kamchatka, Russia, with a further cluster also in Iceland. And in fact, it is Iceland that gives us the name geyser, which simply means to gush forth. Down here, we do not call these geysers. To us, a geyser is that guy over there. So not one of those. Okay. Also, guys, just to let you know, when you do go back to the visitor centre, there are designated areas to smoke. So just be mindful of everyone else. And also, when you're going back to the visitor centre, there is going to be over 200 cars racing back to the visitor centre to try and get in there first. Well, if you like to take your time, just like our geyser is today, that would make for a safer journey, okay? So there'll be guys parking you back at the car park, so just be mindful of everyone else. Otherwise, enjoy your guys' day today. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Kia ora. She actually called me back, just like you did. She's asked me, because normally she would have erupted by now. That's how good I am. But she wants a song out of me. So I'll serenade her for a couple of seconds. Here we go. Tiro, tiro, ki toku tau. Keifia, keifia. Ke runa ke, ke raro ke, ke roto I tapu moi moi ae. Kia ora.
Finally， 好深哦！哇，好高哦！完全拍不起来。